the general information we were given bears no resemblance to the models that are now available through the planning site. Effectively, yes, it's a large concrete box, but certainly the design as we saw it was nothing like this. And the process, this review process, gives no opportunity for the public to express an opinion on the actual design. At the moment, all we have is an outline concrete box, and the only opportunity for appeal, if approved, is on the point of law to the Royal Court. And I'm sorry, this is dictatorial rather. The Minister, in his terms of reference, talks about all development being in accordance with the island plan unless there is sufficient justification for granting permission that is inconsistent with the plan. Well, we can't see enough to know whether it is inconsistent. You know, the only things we can go on with the outline plan are the density, mix, height, scale, height and massing. And these, according to the policy, will be assessed to ensure that the development proposed makes a positive contribution to various urban design objectives, like local character and sense of place, quality of the public realm, ease of movement and permeability, adaptability, diversity, safety by design. From the drawings now available, it is apparent that mass and scale would conflict with the surroundings. But as I said, the original drawings we were shown were totally different in scale and mass to those now available. We can't consider the design matters, since this is merely an outline model, so that, you know, SP7 at the moment goes by the board. We can't consider external elements, landscaping, or all the attributes of the proposal. And since the Minister has sent it out to review, as I've said, the public will be effectively cut off from any further comment or appeal on the design, apart from on a point of law. The applications must, where appropriate, be accompanied by a design statement to demonstrate and explain how the principles of good design address the mass and scale in light of the compliance with paragraphs 5.38 and 5.39 in the DPS, and as such comply with SP7. Well, this is an outline planning application, and all we've got to go on is a very large, very high concrete box. Does this really comply with policies dealing with evidence, dealing with mass and scale? Where is the evidence to demonstrate this? Paragraphs 538 and 539 of Gleed's document contain a lot of impressive statements explaining how the design will comply with planning policies. But where is the evidence? This is the only time we can discuss the proposal, and all we have to go on is a very large concrete box. And where is the evidence of the overriding need to have everything on site crammed into the large concrete box? Is this the most efficient use of resources? Is one building appropriate with one small satellite? There are facilities for a good general hospital which haven't been included, like the physiotherapy pool, and there's no evidence that any provision has been made for any of these facilities, even in another building. And if we follow it up with criteria under policy GD1, which is paragraph 542 and 543 in the Gleed's document, these deal with impact on neighbours. Well, next door to the hospital at the bottom part of the diagram, all the light will be taken from the flats at the side of that building there. There will be an overwhelming impact on the people who live around there. And the travel plan, where is the evidence to support the decision to require people attending outpatients to park at Patriotic Street, which is the car park in green there, and hike round to Westerway Court, which is right the other side. It's off the drawing there in the top right-hand corner. You know, we have a lot of demographic changes coming in the population, and there will be a lot of increase in elderly people. And that particular car park is full every day. I know nurses who leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning in order to have a parking space. So, and they don't start work till 8 o'clock. You know, is this really, you know, where's the evidence for this as a travel plan? In fact, where is the travel plan? The design quality. Again, we're dealing with an outline. The DAS is meaningless. Paragraph 547 of the design statement or planning statement, you know, this affects the skyline. But where's the evidence that it is valid to ignore the planning policy and go ahead with that? Tall BE5, tall buildings. Where is the evidence to allow this? There are no detailed plans to allow judgment on these policies and the argument supporting the breach of the policies. And GD7, how can there be an assessment of design quality when there are no design drawings? I appreciate the comments made by the historic buildings specialist, because the Opera House across the road and all the old houses around, the Victorian houses, they'll just be totally overset by this monster. Now, you may not be aware, sir, that the main one of the main civil service unions, Prospect, has made a protest to the health minister that something must be done about the bullying culture in the States, and particularly in the health department. And you will also have noticed that none of the consultants or senior medical professionals have made any representations to this inquiry. It is my understanding, and my sources are pretty good, that it has been made clear to the professionals that if they stick their heads above the parapet, it's possible they might find their contracts will not be renewed. You know, where is the evidence from those people who are going to work in this building, you know, that it will work both through the building plans and when completed? Where is the evidence to support the claims in the design statement and to support the divergence from the island plan policies? I would hope, sir, please recommend refusal of this. I said already, the outline drawings that we saw at the beginning, we didn't have an enormously high building occupying a small part of the site. It wasn't the same information. I've since learned that perhaps the consideration of other sites has not been, you know, as thorough as perhaps it might have been. But I think at this point in time, what we are doing is saying, you know, no, thank you. I have been in touch with the people who are going to work in the hospital, the medics and so on, and as I say, they are very unhappy about it.
But not the residents?
Yes, I do. I have consulted with people in the public. In fact, I can't go to the supermarket without being collared, you know, usually by the cheese counter. One of the penalties of being in politics, sir.
You voted against citing the hospital now in that position, considering the small surface that it needs to be squeezed into?
I would vote against it.
Yes. This is what's proposed. It's sitting on what may or may not be significant, a banker's box. Now that may be significant, we don't know, but here we are, this is it, look. Downtown San Francisco or somewhere? No, it's not. It's and that blancmange in the middle is the new hospital. Well, not exactly a new hospital, it's the replacement hospital. There used to be a complete model of the whole town at one stage. I don't know what's happened to that. That's disappeared. Nobody seems to know what happened to that. Of course, if you build it much, much smaller as this is, it looks much less. If they built it at the same scale as the other model over there, it would have looked much larger. But there it is. You have to work out for yourself how it relates. This is the park. Just here, look. Lots of happy dancing and singing. This is our blocks, which are 2 floors higher than the Mary. 17 floor high. Does it add to our life? I doubt it very much. Does it really? It's organically, when towns develop organically, is what they usually happen. You get this sort of jolly jumble of buildings, and then somebody comes along and says, look, we can put this in the middle of it, which is the way planning is done now. There's another one. That used to be a nice little dance hall there. Bit of pleasure. It's a block of flats. So it is. Down here somewhere is the sea, which they predict might be rising by anything up to 8 feet. So much of this will disappear anyway, so we won't have to worry about it too much in 50 years' time. Will we, Sarah? It'll be like Atlantis, won't it? A new Atlantis, all underwater.
That won't be.
They'll be excavating. There'll be divers going.
It's 2 millimetres.
Divers going down.
It's 3 millimetres a year.
3 millimetres. Oh, never mind. Well, that's it. What more can I say about it?